Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast, episode 407. This is your post-draft grading show for the Detroit Lions. Huge show after a huge show after a huge show after a huge draft. It was crazy. I am your dashing host, Chris. Oh, I got to tell you, this is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is a renewed man, a man who found himself tons of, what is it, glucosamine, and has regenerated both hips, both knees, and that beautiful face. Jeff, the Riz Risden, how you doing, brother?
It is good to be with you. You know, it was just such an incredible weekend. It made me think so much about like drafts past and like how much fun it's been to cover the draft over the years and all the different like Lions picks of all the time, and trying to sort in my head, like where we were and all the memories of drafts past and the time that I was in Las Vegas for the draft. And it was just such a wonderful time to be with everybody and, thinking about all the, the Avion Caissons of the world and Andre Fluellens and
all right, Marinara. Let's hold it off there. Okay, let's get on with the show. All right, we're going to review the draft today. I love that. I was going to wear purple, but I couldn't do it. We're going to review the draft today. We're going to cover some UDFAs. We're going to go deep dive in the UDFAs next show. Nick the Greek, thank you, brother. And a whole lot more. We got a great show lined up. Riz, the Marinara man, you ready to go, bro?
We need the Hillswing Blues theme song playing in the background. Yes, I am. Let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right, let's get it. Oh my God. I love throwing the comments up. Some of them I like more than the other. Look at that. Chris looks great.
Great.
How do I get that? But in there is Riz is looking dapper, and Chris, has your liver recovered? Yes, I'm back at it. As a matter of fact, it is Cinco de Mayo, and in honor of Cinco de Mayo.
I'm bored.
We enjoy making our drinks over here. We got our game day drinks, and we like to do them the right way. I have a margarita. It's going to be a little different than what most of you folks are expecting. I'm going to give you a very interesting little tip. If you're going to drink a margarita, it should be Honolulu Blue. That, my friends, is the perfect margarita. How would one make a blue margarita? You can do this with any margarita, guys. First off, I'll just tell you, instead of triple sec, blue carousel. Yeah, that's the magic trick. Same stuff, same taste, same great flavor, way better color, and you can be a Lions fan. This one, I'm going to just give you guys the run real quick. 1/2 ounce of agave syrup, 1 ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce of blue carousel, 1.5 ounces of tequila, and 2 dashes of orange bitters. And there you go, the perfect margarita. All right, guys, that's it. We'll get things going here. Let's get into the draft. Let's get into the Lions.
I'm going with the Mexican lager. We've got Armadillo from Arbor Brewing. Very good, smooth beer. I'm very partial to Pacifico of the more macro brands, but this is good too.
I see Armadillo and I realize it took me about 3 years before I saw my first one in Florida. I didn't realize we had armadillos here, and now they're all over the place. It's nuts.
I didn't either.
Yeah, armadillos.
We actually had one about the second week that we had lived in Texas. We had one digging in our bed, and I had no idea that they were that furry on the underside.
Your flower bed, right?
Wow, there's a lot of fur coming out of that bad boy, like underneath the shell and everything.
You mean the flower bed, right? It was the only time
I ever saw a live one. The rest of them were all dead.
When you said it was digging in your bed, you meant the flower bed, right?
Yes, flower bed. Yes, yeah. It was, and to their credit, thank God for them, they eat fire ants.
Yeah. No, they're good. They're really creepy looking. My wife coming home just the day before yesterday got stopped. Took a video of it. 10-foot alligator. It was nice enough to use the crosswalk, but it rolled right across. She had to stop.
Crosswalk.
Yeah. It rolled right across, and then we, it's like 1.5 miles from the house. Like, holy crap! And we just live down, where the roundabout is, right? It's down there.
Yeah.
Use the crosswalk. Couldn't get to the roundabout. Then last night, we're sitting there at dinner, looking out back. Get a big old bobcat go bouncing through the backyard. It's Wild Kingdom out here for those who remember that. Okay, we got a lot going. Let's talk Lions, and let's not do it was Animal King, was it? It was Wild Kingdom with Mutual of Omaha. That was it. Right?
Yeah, Lauren Perkins. Yeah.
yes. He's our version of David Attenborough. All right. Let's first talk about the Detroit Lions draft. This was and hey, folks, love you guys. Thank you so much in the chat for all the stuff you're doing. this is a tough week to get in. I have to tell you, this week at work has just ground me down. Yesterday we wanted to go live and do the show, but we couldn't because work just got in my way. I was still working when the show should have been going on. I was exhausted. It's been like that all week. It's been like that for a couple weeks, but the draft break and all that Jaeger helped me out. But happy Cinco de Mayo, Justin. Please hit the like and subscribe if you're there. You guys are rocking. The draft. David, he says, love the shows. Let's go Lions. A grade for the draft. We'll talk about that. We'll see what we got. I just want to start off with the sense I got walking away, besides the Jaeger buzz, the idea that this was so much better feeling than the pair that touched us in our fandom before. But last year even, right? It was so confusing coming out of the draft. It's like Anzarike, McNeil. Okay, what are we doing here? Like, we need a wide receiver, right? And we didn't know. We didn't know what we were doing. And it was like, we absolutely need COVID, the whole thing. Definitely need another year to start evaluating. But now I feel like I'm starting to get a sense. And I'm really starting to like what I see. Where are you at, Riz, kind of generally overall?
I think we have a much better feel for the direction of the team and of the men who are in control of that vision and choosing the players that choose that destiny. And I think we're feeling better about them now than we were at this point last year. Anzarike was a curious pick. It still looks that way a year later. Some of that's on injury, but some of that's on him too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think what I really liked this year was they went and got aggressive. Like a lot of people were like, oh, we need so many things. And I'm like, the number one thing that I wrote down for Lions team needs was they need impact talent.
Dudes.
Doesn't matter where. They need like future all pros on somewhere besides the offensive line, because right now that's the only place where there are all pros. And there might be 4 of them, but they needed dogs, man. and they got 2 big dogs in the first round, and they stuck to their guns at 2, and they got aggressive and went up and got Jameson at 12. And I actually, just before this show, I was on with our friend Dave Schultz down in Mobile, talking a little bit about Jameson Williams, and they are ecstatic at the fit that he gives the Lions and how much like they didn't have to sell me on it. Like they were selling, like they were trying to sell me on. Like, dude, I'm there, man. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
Dare I say, there's a phrase that kind of comes to mind, and it may ring a bell when I say it for you guys. Bold moves. Bold moves. That's what that trade to 12 was. And I think that panned out. Plus 230, 240, I can't remember which one it is on the value chart. I think it was 16% value take away from the Vikings. Bold move to step up. Nobody wanted, we just need more picks. Oh, we need more picks. That was a big pick. And he's supposed to be ready for training camp. We'll get into that. I want to talk really quick about the front office. I'm going to put together a video here in the next couple of days. I got some work I got to do for Jerry and the Seatbelt Gang side, seatbeltgang.com. Check that out. Great merch to help support a bunch of charities in Detroit and some good folks. I'm going to put together a video about leadership, and I think I've got a really good handle on where this team is. I've talked a little bit about it. I know a lot of people kind of have enjoyed some of the kind of translation of leadership and what they're doing in that front office and kind of get an idea of that. So I'm going to put a video together that here in the next couple of days. It'll be, 8, 10, 12 something minutes, somewhere around there. But to give you guys a nice bite-sized chunk about what I see from this front office and how it translated into the draft picks and what they're doing, because a lot of people have asked about that. But with that, do you want to talk about the draft, Riz, or do you just want to call it a show at this point? I can drink more margaritas.
Talk about the draft a little bit. We only did. So we were live. I was with you for about 4 hours Friday night I think you guys went 6 hours and 10 minutes.
Yes.
God bless you and Ash, man. You guys did a great job. I enjoyed going along for the ride with you guys for a while. Yeah, but we need to talk about day 3, and we got like, now that we've had a little time to burp and settle on what happened in the first 2 days, I think we have a little bit better idea of how to process that too.
Yes. That was a lot of fun. I got to tell you, I don't mind doing the shows, especially when I've got that much Jaeger in the veins. But those long shows, you get into it, and I really enjoy it, and the interaction with the folks in the chat really, really is awesome. I appreciate you folks and what you guys bring.
You can't do that long without having some interaction and some feedback going along and some back and forth with it. It's because I'll tell you, I've done pre-records of radio shows that last 3 hours on the air.
Ooh.
It's brutal. By like the fourth segment, we're like, oh my God, I got to keep talking.
Don H nails it. After that draft, the only depression you should feel is the depression on that like button. Give it a push. Enjoy the ride. Hit the subscribe
that's
button.
good, Don.
Don's good. All right, let's get into it. Let's reveal the players. We're going to do it bottoms up. It's Cinco de Mayo. We've got our margaritas and our armadillo. We're going to go bottoms up. We will start. We'll tap it. We'll start at the bottom like we do with the ladies. The first pick is Chase Lucas. And a German friend. He said, no. He was like, we you always cheers ahead of when you drink, right? When you get a new drink. And he's like, no. We hit our glasses at the bottom like our women.
We need to go to Germany.
All right, number 7, defensive back, Chase Lucas. Start there. All right, Riz, day one player, top, starter, top of the depth chart at number 7. I don't know how you could have done better. If you're Brad Holmes, you've got guys. You pick 2 edges. They're fighting to start. Who's number 1? You don't know. Maybe not. Okay, Chase Lucas, what do you got for us, brother?
So I will freely acknowledge I did not scout him this season. I did watch some Arizona State. I primarily watched for they have an offensive lineman and they had a linebacker. And Lucas was part of the wallpaper for my watching on that. So, and I haven't had time to get back and sit back and watch him much. But I had one note scribbled on him and I said that he was leggy in coverage. That's literally the only note I had on him. So I will be learning about Chase Lucas. It won't happen this weekend because my son's AAU team is hosting the tournament, and I have volunteered, and I will be water boy for the officials all weekend. But I will get into it next week. My schedule dies down quite a bit then, and I will have detailed scouting reports on all these guys. But Chase Lucas was a bit of a mystery to me, and it was a guy. I asked a couple people. I asked Kyle Krabs from the Draft Network about him. I asked Luke Easterling from DraftWire about him. I asked our friend Emery Hunt about him, and the feedback that I got on all of them was like, that's about where he should have gone. That he's,
he was in the Shrine Bowl, right?
He was.
Let me do some decoding of the Riz secret language and evaluation chart. When you say he's leggy, what does that mean?
That means that he has trouble changing direction and getting going quickly. When you're leggy, and if you've ever watched my son play basketball, you would know this. He's 6'9". His legs are 38 inches long. It takes him a little bit of time to get going, and it takes him some time to flip his hips. He's blessed with greasy hips. Thank God he got my wife's hips instead of mine. But Chase Lucas is kind of a tighter hipped guy. Just watching him movement, he's not stiff. I'm not calling him stiff, but he is not. Like if you go back and you remember Amani Oruwariye when he was at the combine, instantaneous his hips flipped when he was doing the drill. That's not Chase Lucas. So I don't know. And again, I'm just saying this off of what other people have told me about him. I'm not sure he makes the team as a rookie. I think this might be a long-term stash. He's definitely a culture fit. Just looking at his bio from Arizona State, 3-time team captain. This is a guy who was an academic overachiever in school, smart guy, hardworking guy, leader. You're going to hear a lot of that tonight. You're going to hear a lot of that. That's one of the big takeaways that we all have from the weekend was that there's a type of player that they gravitate to, and this is it. Now, if Jerry's healthy, if Jeff Okuda's healthy, and he looked fantastic in the video clips that he's posted, he's not better than those guys. He's not better than Oruwariye. He's not taking Iffy's job. He's still got A.J. Parker. He's still got Mike Hughes. Somebody's got to play the slot. It sure as heck isn't going to be Lucas. So I don't know where he fits on the 53-man roster.
Now, let me do this because this was picked 237 overall.
Right.
Last year, our 7th-round pick was 257 overall.
Right.
And you're the Lions. Let's just say you have Jamar Jefferson and Chase Lucas available this year at the same state Jamar was last year at the draft. Yep. Who do you prefer to pick?
Because I knew who Jefferson was better, I would take him, even though I was staunchly against taking a running back. And thank God they didn't take a running back this year. Hallelujah!
I'm very surprised by that reaction because I like the idea of taking a shot on a DB over a running back. And when I think about number 7, pick 237 in the draft, I'm not sure you're getting, you're getting not the runt of the litter, but you're not getting the pick of the litter either, right? And I think that they found a guy, like you said, who's a smart fella, Jesus Christ, a smart guy. He's a smart guy, has some potential, maybe can be built up, and is one of those guys. They only picked up 2 defensive backs at all, both cornerbacks.
One of the things that you like is that he played in the college program where Herm Edwards was the coach for a while. Marvin Lewis was affiliated with it. So he's had NFL-style coaching in his background, and that is important. I think that's something that will prepare him for life in the NFL better than a guy coming out of, I don't know, Colorado State, something like that. Like, where there just isn't that. I'm not saying it's a bad pick, but I'm just saying I don't know where the room is for it. I would have actually preferred that one of the UDFAs that we're going to talk about would have been picked there rather than Lucas.
Interesting. All right, let's walk up a little bit. Let's get to the 6th round. We got a pair of picks. Okay, thanks, Brandon. I will check that out. We got a pair of picks in the 6th round. The first one we'll get to, and so I got my numbers mixed up here, my friend. I apologize. James Houston, where did we pick him overall? I don't have that number right. That's where I'm at. So
I should know this. I've typed it like 25 times.
Yeah, I know it.
Later in the 6th.
Yeah. So let's just say 210. Yeah, well, that works, right? 210. Somewhere 210-ish, 200-ish.
Yeah, 211 maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so James Houston, Jackson State. I should know it. He's a linebacker. Everybody was in on linebackers. Look, before we go any further, Riz, I want to, on behalf of all the people that won't, Houston was 217, Mark thinks. I want to apologize on those people that rode you about saying the Lions are not going to pick a linebacker before day 3. They were wrong. They were absolutely wrong. Riz was right, and the crap you took from people was just it was insane. And this is what I like. Normally, I'm like, Twitter's crap. People are idiots. Whatever. It's what people are idiots everywhere. But this one really stuck in my craw for some reason. Right? Because it's like, why are you so angry? If Riz is wrong, which I didn't think you were, but if he is, where were you touched? Show me on the doll, right? Why are you so irrationally angry about this, right?
It was weird to me. The venom that came out for people, for me stating not my opinion, but what I was told directly from people that are in charge of making those decisions.
Crazy.
Like, it's not that hard, people. It really isn't. They liked their linebackers. That's a direct quote from a coach on the team. We like them. They're good. That is a direct quote. I can even show you the text if you want me to, from the person who may or may not be coaching them. I can tell you. Like, it was wild to me. I understand that Lions fans are frustrated with the linebacker play. I was too. I would have taken one earlier. I absolutely would. I would have taken one at 66. Nope, not a question in my mind. Obviously, I didn't have that pick, but there were a couple of guys that I would have taken there. I'm very happy with the ones that they got. But yeah, it was weird how like god awful rude people got. It was
so I just
between that and me consistently harping on that they were not interested in Malik Willis at 2. They passed on him at 46, and I was told reliably they would have passed on him at 97 if he was still on the board too. They were not taking him. They did not see him that way, period. Everybody in Detroit, myself, Justin Rogers, Kyle Meinke, Ben Raven, Dave Burkett, we all had the same message for you all the entire time. The entire time. We're like, it's not happening. Like, move on from it. And I will give Thor Nystrom from NBC Sports Edge, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Thor is a friend, a good friend. I spent a lot of time with him in the draft season. We talk almost daily. I had a very good conversation with him after the draft where he I don't want to say he apologized, but he didn't. That looks good. He didn't really need to apologize because he was never rude to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like he was one of the big cheerleaders for the Malik Willis at 2 movement. And he realized the day before last Wednesday, that it wasn't going to happen and tried to let people down on it. And the only thing I will say from it is that I hope that one of the lessons that Lions fans learned this year is to listen to the local people who are actually talking to people in Allen Park and have access to the players and the coaches and the scouts rather than people from afar. Thor lives in Minneapolis. He is a Vikings fan, by the way.
Yeah.
Not that you should hold that against him, but all of the noise about taking a linebacker early and Malik Willis didn't come from us. Came from outside forces. Put 1 and 1 together, and it should make 2 for you. Because this is the second year in a row where the national pundits have been grossly wrong about what the Detroit Lions are going to do, and most of us locals got at least some of it right.
I'd just
That's
like
all I'm going to say on it.
Yeah, and I'd like to say, even amongst the locals, this is the time when it's if you really want to feel informed and get it, you go back and think about the people that told you the things that were right and the things that were wrong, and you start saying, oh, you know what? It's kind of like hockey. You don't get up and retaliate right away, right? You get up, you get the number, and you check it out for later. There's some people you want to take out of your world. There's some you want to put in.
That's when you put your 4th line in an attack.
Exactly. You can get your you know where to get the right words, the right news from the people that have a little something to know versus people that are just throwing spaghetti against the wall. So with that, James Houston, and I don't want to knock on it because I really, really like this pick. This is a good pick, I think, at linebacker.
He's a Florida Gator.
Yeah. Number 1, first and foremost. Played at Florida. All his highlights were Florida. They couldn't get it from Jackson State in time to put the package together on the Lions website. But
that's not the Lions' fault. That's Jackson State's fault. And more specifically, that's Deion Sanders' son's fault because he was put in a position where he doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
It happens. I work with some people like that sometimes. My former boss. But James Houston comes in, linebacker, played really well at Florida. His highlight reel, and I know you don't watch highlights to evaluate a guy, but his highlight reel is strong at Florida. James Houston, he's not going to come in. He's not going to knock anybody off the roster, but he's going to start getting playing time. And this training camp, he's going to have a real opportunity to do something. This guy brings something, and he could be a long-term piece of this puzzle.
Yeah, he strikes me as the guy who's going to push out Tavante Beckett and Anthony Pittman and maybe Rashad Berry, because at Jackson State, he was a pass rusher. He was a 230-pound edge.
He was greasy, right? I mean, he could find the gap and he could squeeze in, and the guy could move.
Yeah, another smart guy.
A very he reminded me, you know who, and I hate to do this because they're both Florida guys. He reminds me of like a Jared Davis kind of a speed guy, except with brains. You know what I mean? And then that came out wrong. You know what I mean?
That came out. He has a better football aptitude of how to use his physicality than what Jared did.
Thank you.
And Ernie Sims was the same way to go Florida State. Like that guy was an incredible athlete, but dude, first off, he reacted to every single stimuli that was on the field around him. I know a teammate called him Squirrel because he was like the dog seeing the squirrel, like, oh, I got to react to that. And he would react to everything and do nothing. Jared Davis has a little bit of that to him. James Houston doesn't have that. His problem is that he doesn't know how to slow down. He will run past the play a lot. Mm-hmm. You got to harness that. Yeah. There's useful athleticism there.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to play much as a linebacker. I think this is actually one of the questions that we have for when we get time with Brad and Dan next week during minicamp. We do get a day. Can't publicly reveal what day that is, but we get a day with them, and that's one of the things we're going to ask is like, what's the plan for him? Is it going to be an off-ball linebacker? Is it going to be an edge? Are you going to put some weight on him? Is it going to be a hybrid? Or is this a guy that you have as a culture fit who's going to be a demon on special teams? And if that's all he is, it's still a good pick in the 6th round. Because this is, again, really smart guy. This is a guy who graduated from Florida before he transferred and was a very good student. I believe he was honorable mention, academic all SEC twice. A theme here. That's a big thing. He's a leadership. And I love his nickname, The Problem, or The Problem, however you want to call it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like he's gonna let you know he's on the field.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the best things you can say about a late round pick is that he had distinguishing characteristics as a player. He is to go Megadeth, high speed dirt. He's going to hit you, and you're going to know it, and you're going to be in the dirt, and he might be in the dirt with you, and he might run past you and create some dirt of his own. But I liked it. I liked the aggressiveness on it, and I have been able to actually catch a couple of Jackson State games. Watched their game against Florida A&M while we were scouting Marquise Bell, who went undrafted, safety that a lot of people wanted and liked. Yep. I did too.
Let me just really quick.
He's got good tape, Chris. This kid has a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a call and left a message while we were talking. This is the message.
You've had enough of that shit.
I apologize, straight up, Jared Davis. My words did not say what I meant. What was in my head. You know what I mean? I did not mean to insinuate that he was not a smart guy. And I just want to make sure that's clear because I'm a Jared Davis fan. You know what I mean? I have been for a long time. And when he came back, I was happy. So,
I'll tell you that Houston could be taking his job.
Yeah.
That's a very real possibility.
Yep.
They are all in that competition blender. The other linebackers that I mentioned, Beckett, Pittman, Jared Davis, you could throw Chris Board is probably safe, but there's somebody else that I'm blanking on.
Yep.
That's not Anzalone or Barnes.
Anzalone.
Yeah. There's another one who's like a depth player that I'm blanking on. But yeah, this was they're competing for 1 or 2 roster spots there out of 5 or 6 guys.
William LaPratte, thank you. He read your USFA. UDFA, I think, article from TCU. We'll talk about him very shortly. Yep. I think Jarvis in the long run is a much better candidate to start in a couple years. Chris, I like the linebacker from Jackson State. Thank you, William. Appreciate that. We're going to move up to pick number, is this right? 113 overall, Malcolm Rodriguez. Am I drunk or am I? No, I'm not drunk.
He was 173 maybe?
Yeah, that might be right. God, I have to go back to my stuff. I apologize. Malcolm Rodriguez from Oklahoma, linebacker. This I have to say, if we think back to that's what it was. Derek Barnes was 113 last year. That's what it was. Malcolm Rodriguez. This is a guy with a future. First linebacker we took. If you guys haven't been able to tell, we're working our way up the list here. This is a guy that has a potential future. Not a giant guy, if I remember correctly, but he hits like a freaking hammer, and he maybe deserves the hammer nickname much more than our previous draft pick under Mr. Coach Schwartz, right?
Yeah. So this is the guy that I know pretty well. I watch a lot of Oklahoma State football, and Oklahoma State was a weird Big 12 team in that they tried to win with defense. And this guy was the ringleader of it. And ringleader is the proper term to refer to Malcolm Rodriguez. He is a green dot helmet guy. This is another guy, 2-time academic all conference, smart guy, smart football guy, incredible leadership. And if you watch any game of him playing, just look where the ball is, and he's going to be there. Like he has such good feel for what's going to happen. His playing style will remind you of Chris Spielman. Now he's smaller. He's 5'11", 230, short arms, and is not as fast in either a straight line or cutting across angles as Spielman.
Isn't it natural for a guy to pick up 3 inches and longer arms with NFL nutrition and conditioning?
We can hope. But yeah, this guy, he has just an incredible open field tackler, downhill, head up, and he tackles exactly the way that the NFL sends out the videos of how you're supposed to tackle. Look through the guy, shoulder, head up, lift, drop, sink your weight, don't land on him, throw him to the side. That's Malcolm Rodriguez. This guy is going to play for a long time in the NFL. I'm ecstatic for it. I'm more than a little happy that I called it back in November when I was previewing the Bedlam game. I said, this, ladies and gentlemen, this is your Lions 6th round pick. And I got it. So we'll have that too.
I really, really like this.
This is a great pick.
Yeah.
This was certainly the best player that was on the board, especially concerning the needs. And this is the range where they were going to take a linebacker, and I am ecstatic they got Malcolm Rodriguez. I love this guy. I love him.
Yeah, no, he's good, and his attitude, it's just it's something really, really nice. I really, really like this attitude he brings, and I think he's gonna contribute very, very quickly to this team. Now, part of that is when we look at it, who do we have at linebacker? Right? I mean, we have who we have. That doesn't diminish who Malcolm Rodriguez is at that position. I want to make sure. He's the kind of guy. I mean, he probably in the right space, in the right world, he could have gone around earlier. He's got a lot of talent. He brings a lot to the game. I'm really, really interested in seeing what he has in training camp and OTAs this year. By the way, we're working on some of that, and we'll talk about some of that in a little bit. But good pick in Malcolm Rodriguez. I want to keep rolling, Riz. We gotta bounce through this. Gonna step up to pick number. I've got my numbers now. 177 overall. James Mitchell out of Virginia Tech, tight end. Holy free holies. If we think about it, I think last year it wasn't nearly as far down. But okay, so we got James Mitchell, a tight end. What's your thoughts about him and what he brings to the team?
This was a guy, and both Dane Brugler from The Athletic and Kyle Krabs, our friend from the Draft Network, both said it. This was a third-round pick until he got hurt. This is a receiving tight end. He can play some H-back as your move tight end. He can line up as your fullback. It's probably not the best use for him, but this guy, he is an upgrade over Brock Wright or Shane Zylstra or insert 7 other tight ends who are still on the roster for at least the next 5 minutes. By the way, that's if you're going to see roster trimming, and you will be very shortly. It's going to be some of it's going to be tight ends. He's a very interesting prospect. He can block. He needs some technical work. I think having time with Hank Fraley, working with him on the intricacies of blocking, is going to help him a lot. He is not an inline guy, and that's the one concern that I have for a number 2 tight end, was that I wanted somebody who could be a little bit better of a blocking presence. Mm-hmm. He's not bad at it. He just needs work at it. And he's got the size. He's 6'2" or 6'4", pretty long arms, 254 pounds. I think he played at 249. Really good red zone target. That was one of the things that stood out at Virginia Tech. He can go up and he can create space for himself up. When you're being guarded by a 5'11" safety and you're a 6'4", and you can jump up and dunk the ball over the goalpost, which he likes to do after he scores touchdowns, you can use that.
Yeah, I mean, again, the big guys. I always, and I'm sorry, Riz, you told me the story, and I can't ever let it go. I think of the big tight ends. I think of the guys that like to hit on Mrs. Risden, and I think, hey, you know what? They're a red zone target, and the story. That's it. And I can't believe that guy, Mr. Trip Over a Dog and playing volleyball. How do you trip over a dog while you're playing volleyball? That's the thing I don't understand.
Dogs on the volleyball court are dangerous, man. They pee on that sport court, soft slick and hell.
Yes. All right. Lot going on in the chat. Thank you, folks. Look, there's almost 200 people here and only 53 likes. I'm not sure what's going on.
Thanks, y'all.
Hit that like button if you would. Help us out. We appreciate when you do that. That gives the show a little bit of a boost, gets people out there to find it, and helps us keep doing what we do and do our thing. So hit the like button. And if you like what you, beyond just hitting the like button, because that's easy, that's free. If you want to see some more, and we've got a lot more coming, go ahead and subscribe, because we get a lot for you. Hit. Let's get us up to 70 likes. Let's do that. Okay, guys? All right. James Mitchell, tight end.
One more quick thing on Mitchell.
Yeah.
He tore his ACL in, I think it was the last week of September. He should be fine to go at the beginning of training camp, from everything I've been told.
So we're getting a lot of that in this. Guys who are going to be fine by training camp. Guys who were on the team last year who are going to be fined by training camp. Guys who we drafted who are going to be fined by training camp.
Number 39, maybe?
A 50% hit rate. I'm telling you, 39 is going to be okay by him. I'm just telling you. A 50% hit rate on that makes us a pretty good team. So I'm going to leave that with that. Okay. So James Mitchell, love it at tight end. We also picked up Derek Deese from San Jose State, which is a great place to pick up a tight end, and Nolan Given from Southeastern Louisiana, 2 other tight ends, potential blocking guys, potential to fill in that spot. And let's also not forget, future All-Pro, All-Star, All-American Brock Wright, still rolling around at the tight end position.
Yes, he's your solid leader for the number 3 tight end, and they will absolutely keep 3.
And I will tell you, just don't dismiss the UDFAs. These are guys that last year got a shot to play, and of course we had a lot of injuries. I recognize that, but Brock Wright was one of those UDFAs, tight end last year, came in, made a difference, got some crucial touchdowns this year, made some big plays, made a name for himself. He's here because of the shot he got as a UDFA last year. So I'm okay. And yes, we can think of Kabinda in a way as a tight end as well. There's a lot of, and I'm going to use this word, this touch you in the fandom word, multiple. A lot of multiple here. Kyle, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate you. Also, don't forget about the super chat, folks. That really helps us out as well. Appreciate that. All right. Let's get on from James Mitchell. Let's get to this is a spot that I wanted to pick earlier in the draft. This is a spot that at one point I wanted to take number 2 overall in the draft, this position. And I waffled. I changed my mind, and we can evolve. That's one of the things I think that's really important. Thanks for all the subs. You folks are awesome. That's an important thing, is to be able to, with new data, change your position. We got our safety, number 3 overall, and that was position 101, Kirby Joseph out of Illinois. That's, if you think back to the year before, we got Iffy at 101. We got Kirby here at 97th overall. Sorry. So here we are with Kirby Joseph, 97th overall, right around the same place we got ourselves Iffy last year. I'm a little bit higher on Kirby than I am on Iffy, and Iffy looked good when he played.
Once Iffy figured out what he was doing, he looked fine, and the arrow's definitely pointing up for him. I'm a huge Kirby Joseph fan. And as you know, Chris, in my draft evaluations, one of the things that I like is guys who take a leap when they have a coaching change.
Yep.
And when Lovie Smith was coaching at Illinois, Kirby Joseph was just like one of those guys, like, okay, he runs really fast, but they don't really know what they have. They figured out what they had in him last year at Illinois, and he played much better. He played almost every snap. He's a speed guy. He is a twitch guy. He is a former high school volleyball letterman, which obviously earns bonus points for me. He's got ball skills. They've used him at wide receiver before. Like, this is a guy who can really catch the ball. I think he had 5 interceptions. He is a coverage-oriented safety. He's not a great tackler. For those of you who wanted like the antithesis of Will Harris, you're not getting that. You're getting half of it. He's your coverage safety. He will try in the run game, as Will Harris does. I'm not going to dog Will on that. But he's not the best at tackling angles or at just like driving through people. Like, he's going to make some arm tackles, and like he's better at tackling the wide receiver after the catch. But in terms of the run game, you're not gonna probably like Kirby Joseph all that much as a rookie. You're gonna like him because he's gonna shut down a third of the field in coverage and reliably understands how to help. If Iffy or Jerry or Jeff or Amani need help over the top, he can do that and do it a lot better and more alertly and adroitly than anybody that we've had since Quandre Diggs.
And let's talk about what that secondary looks like right now. You've got Tracy Walker, right? And you're only running two linebackers. You got Tracy Walker. You got Deshaun Elliott, thank you. Brain. It's the blue in the margaritas. If you drink a normal margarita, your brain works, but the blue breaks them. Deshaun Elliott, Tracy Walker. You got let's say Okuda, let's say Jacobs, let's say Oruwariye, right? You got now your linebacker kind of guy. Is it Kirby? Is he rolling in there, or is he shutting down a third of the field? I mean, you suddenly have a whole lot of options to move. What about Iffy, right? You have options with Iffy. There's a lot of options on where to put these guys and move them around, and there's a lot of depth. I really like this. I like how they formulated this secondary, and how, I hate to say, I'm going to use the word again, multiple, right? A little bit of plug and play, a little bit of flexibility, right? A little bit of here or there, a little bit, I'm going to do this. And Will Harris, I mean, as a number 3 or number 4 at cornerback and at safety, that's a hell of a player to have right there. Will Harris is a great player there.
If Will Harris is your 5th cornerback and your 4th safety, hell yeah, man, give me that.
Yeah. And
I want that. Exactly. That's a great role for him.
Exactly. And then the next couple of picks, we're going to talk about what we did to the defensive line. And we can hear about what happened with Onwuzurike and some of the feedback we're hearing about him. This means a lot. This defense could be in just 2 years. I want folks right now just to think back to the end of Matt Patricia's regime as to what that defense was. What a tire fire in a dumpster that defense actually was. And think about what you're looking at right now and the potential. I mean, even last year was a massive improvement, but think about now with these guys healthy. And like, again, Onwuzurike, if he comes to what he's supposed to be, and we're hearing he could be, we're seeing Okudah tape of his recovery and the work that he's doing, looking pretty strong, looking pretty good. Jerry, I'm telling you, talking to him, he's coming along strong. My guy's going to be ready for training camp. We got some really, really good talent and the potential to have a nasty-ass defense. I'm loving this 2-year complete flip of the burger on this thing.
They're so much more functionally football athletic than they were. And I don't mean that as an insult to, obviously, Tavai. I do a little bit there. But like guys like Trey Flowers and Jermaine Kearse and Duron Harmon and guys like that who have come and gone and needed to go. There's a lot more youthful leg and energy and just versatility. Mm-hmm. The fact that if he can play inside or outside and could eventually transition to safety. You know, we talked to Jerry last year, like he didn't want to go to safety, and good call on Jerry's part, by the way. He belonged outside. He believed in himself and he did it. Good for you, Jerry.
100%, bro. I mean,
yeah, I asked him that. He was almost insulted. I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah,
but
he was like, when we asked him that, and that's the August interview with Jerry. He was like, and just so you know, we'll have Jerry on the next 2 or 3 weeks here. He's gonna come up and we're gonna start digging in and take you back to where he was last year and what some of these young guys are thinking and what they're trying to absorb right now and walk you through kind of what's in their head. But go ahead, Riz. Sorry.
Just the ability to like, we're going to talk about some guys who can play a lot of. James Houston can play as a backup edge if he wants to, in a package where the opposing team has 2 running backs on the field. And don't put that past Minnesota. Don't put that past Green Bay. Like, he can play as the edge who can carry one of those guys in coverage down the field. And he's a bigger body than a safety. So if they do try to run it inside, he's got a little bit more bulk on him than what a Brady Breeze would have. And Brady Breeze, by the way, is still your number 3 safety or 4 safety. That's good luck, Brady Breeze.
Brady Breeze is probably the best quarterback tandem in the NFL. Okay.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. So I'm pleased with Kirby Joseph. I wanted coverage better at the back end. Look, run defense is a weird thing. This is one of the things that we're talking about a lot in NFL centric direct messages and messaging with one another, is the concept of you want the other team to run the ball as much as possible because so many more bad things can happen to your defense when they throw it than when they run it. 100%. And the ability to force the other team to run the ball by being able to shut down their pass is like chef's kiss. That's what you want.
Well, just put it this way, Riz. It's a pass first league. Take away the pass, right? Yeah. Make them do what they don't want to do. Period. I mean that's. I mean, it's a very oversimplified.
Unless you've got Nick Chubb or Derrick Henry, like, you're not going to run as your primary form of offense. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot. So upgrading the pass defense and specifically the deeper field coverage and being able to create turnovers. That was the number one thing that they needed to upgrade at safety. They got arguably the best ball hawk safety in the entire draft, and they got it at 97 overall. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yep. Got to say hey to Mac Robinson. Mac is out there. Saw you in the chat, Mac. What's up, brother? Miss you from Senior Bowl. Mac's a great guy. Great guy, folks. Check him out. Find him on Twitter. Get his stuff. Get going. Also,
Yeah, Mac messaged me when that pick happened that he wanted. So he's Browns guy, Cleveland guy.
Yep.
He really wanted Kirby Joseph a couple picks later.
I want to really quick.
There's a message. I see it.
I really quick want to 212, 87 likes. Let's get the likes over 100. I'm going to give you the tip to make your margaritas blue, Lions blue, on this Cinco de Mayo. After I take a sip here, I'll watch those likes go up. Get us past 100, guys. Let's do that, and gals. All right. While you hit the like button and while you do that, the key to your margaritas, skip the triple sec. Just don't even think about it. Go straight with blue curacao and get yourself a beautiful Honolulu blue margarita. You walk around, people won't know what the hell's going on. They'll taste it. They'll be blown away. And you, sir, will be the master of the party. You owe me a like. Click it now. All right. Moving up.
By the way, if you want to get a little bit more Honolulu bluey rather than like windshield wiper fluid bluey, clear tequila.
Yeah, silver. A good silver tequila will do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I used orange bitters in here, which also gave it a little windshield wiper blue. All right, let's move on. We're into the top 3 picks now. This pick, I don't want to say underrated. I love the second round pick, number 46 from the Detroit Lions. This one is a pick that I think people kind of place in a bucket that maybe shouldn't exist. Remember, we got Levi Onwuzurike last year, 41. We got Aleem McNeil, 72. We got Josh Paschal from Kentucky. Is he edge? Is he defensive end? He's basically a 5-tech, right? He's kind of an edge. He's kind of an end. He can put him inside. This is a guy that, here we go again, ready? I'm not touching your fandom, but he's multiple. He provides you many different options. And who doesn't love that? Pull him on the inside, put him next to McNeil. Let's say Onwuzurike doesn't work, right? McNeil on the inside. You got Hutchinson on one side. You got Rockwara. You got Jockwara. Either one. I don't care on the other side. You've got yourself some serious action going on in that defensive line. This guy gives you some real flexibility, and he's a hell of a strong player. I like Josh Paschal from Kentucky.
His play strength for the size that he is unreal. He's 267 pounds, and he is like a rock inside. He can jolt people. When he hits you, he has one of the things that I loved about watching him was his hand placement when he gets into an offensive lineman, always right at the bottom of the chest plate and always thrusting up. Mm-hmm. So that means the guy's instantly like popped up like that. That gives him a free range to go wherever he wants to go to get the ball. He's really, really good at that.
There's no better place to hit somebody and move them and put them off balance. When they're moving up, it's over. It's over. Yeah. You part of being an offensive lineman, one of the key parts is your base, being in your base and being with your weight on the ground, light on your feet, but your weight down. You want to be able to squat, push, shove, hang if you need to. When you're in the air, all that goes away. You don't have control over the other player, and you are now taking a ride wherever you need to go. That move is huge. That is a huge.
He's really good at it. So where's he going to play as a rookie? I don't know. Because he's a different style of player at the same position as the number 1 pick, but he's lighter. He sure plays a whole lot like Romeo Okwara. And is Romeo going to be back from his Achilles? I think so. It's been a long time. And Michael Brockers is still around. He also plays that sort of role and has done it for a very long time. So I'm not sure how much he's going to play as a rookie. One of the thoughts that I've had is that they're going to ask him to get up to about 280 pounds and try to play him as the way Aaron Donald is used in Los Angeles. Not saying he's Aaron Donald, but that sort of undersized, like interior havoc raker, he can be that guy. And again, brilliant dude off the field. And if you haven't seen the dentist commercial, you gotta watch the freaking dentist commercial. It's hilarious.
It's great. The personality in these guys is big. And the next one we'll talk about number 2. It's a different kind of personality, but the personality in a lot of these guys is so fun. That is a great.
This guy is your instant fan favorite. Like just incredibly gregarious. very intelligent, carries himself very personably in public. He's approachable. Just talking to a couple people that I know that cover the Kentucky football program, they're like, this is the best human being this program has ever produced. And that says a lot. He's a cancer survivor. He overcame it. He's one of the guys told me if he wants to be governor of Kentucky someday, he will be. Like just very matter of factly, like that's the kind of guy that this Lions team wants. And I love that.
You just gave me a gut punch, buddy. The cancer survivor thing's a big deal. I just got word my cousin's daughter's son, I don't do the math on that kind of stuff. 7-year-old boy just died of brain cancer this week. It was a really sad story, really terrible. So Kingston, man, up to you. That brings out a lot in people. I mean, this kind of thing is why we do the St. Jude thing every year, right? I mean, it's big stuff. So this kind of stuff changes a person. Yeah. This stuff changes a person, and to see a guy like Paschal come back and do what he does, and then be the personality is on top of it, right? This is a guy that knows what life is enjoying life and having a great time with it. So, what am I drinking? Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. It is Cinco de Mayo. It's a margarita. It is just agave syrup, a little bit of lime juice, blue curacao. That's the Lions blue that you got there. Tequila and orange bitters. That's what makes up this this wonderful, wonderful drink. If you ever do a margarita, I'll say again, since you guys broke the like threshold, use blue curacao instead of triple sec, and you'll be in Lions land all day long. Paschal Motor, Hutchinson Motor, injury-free Levi, a better Lee McNeil, both Aquara brothers healthy, and Charles Harris. Damn. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this, you think about it. Riz, let's talk about the potential of this defensive line really quick, since we're almost to the end of the boys we have. This defensive line has the potential to be one of this as good or better than the Sioux line, right? The potential. I'm not saying it's there, but the potential here, the ceiling on this line is better than the 2011, 2014 Lions. This is something we haven't seen in a long time, potentially.
You know, one of the things that you get is, and Todd, the defensive line coach, Todd Wash, talked about this when he talked to Mike O'Hara, which is an interview that you all need to watch, by the way. It's on the Lions website and on their YouTube page. But he talked about being able to attack more with the players that he's got this year. The Matt Patricia defense was very much a read and react, a reactive defense. This isn't an aggressive. This is a proactive defense. They're going to tell the offense, you can't do this. Like, we're taking this away. Figure out a better way to try and beat us, bub. And and the depth that they have. They can roll. Like, if Romeo Okwara goes down this year, God forbid, or if he isn't back, they're so much better equipped to handle these things now than they were a year ago. Like, if Levi doesn't come back, which would suck, or, you know, he just doesn't have it, and that's a very real possibility that we need to be prepared for. The Lions are prepared for it now too, with a guy like Josh, and that's all you can ask for. Again, I'm not sure he's going to play more than 30%, 35% of the snaps this year, but if learning behind a guy like Michael Brockers, learning behind Romeo, who's like a self-made guy who was one of the rare players who fit the last culture and this culture, like that, they can do some fun things here. And it's going to make roster cut downs this summer very interesting, because there are going to be some guys who were playing pretty prominent roles last year who ain't going to make the team this year.
Yeah, for sure. So there you go, John Paschal. And you know, the question here from Lou Bega, I don't see much playing time for Brockers, mostly next to the cheerleaders this year. That's the funny part. Brockers is a good player, and he keeps getting left out of these conversations, even me, right? I mean, I forget.
He'll start. He's going to start.
Yeah. It's crazy, though, that with the players we got and the way things are starting to pan out, that it's like, oh, yeah, and Brockers. I'm telling you, the ceiling on this line, this could be such an incredible year for this defense. And then I think about the strength of schedule, at least based on last year. You know, we have to do some recalculations here, but if we play the strength of schedule that was in line with what last year is, with the upgrades we have, Riz, it was the defense. I mean, think about it. How many games did we not win because the defense just couldn't get a stop because they'd been on the
enforce the takeaway.
Yeah. They've been on the field for way too long. This changes the whole calculus. This is a statistical leap for this team as long as the offense can produce. And let's get to that with pick number 2 overall in this draft. We have our man, number 2. What a trade. Before we get to him, let's talk about the trade. Riz, 32-34. I was like pretty adamant in my thinking. I absolutely want both of those picks. That's 2 gonna start players. End of story. I want Scene at 32. That's where he wound up going, right?
He would have been 32 in Detroit too.
Yeah,
have that on good authority
for sure. And I want a wide receiver at 34, or yada yada down the line. Safety, or sorry, the wide receiver at 34, potentially.
Christian Watson went 34.
Yeah,
wasn't my cup of tea, but was viable prospect.
Yeah, for sure.
Good luck to him.
Very much. Not really, but to package those and then the second round pick and move up 20 positions and get 12. This was masterful. The Vikings fans recovered on day 2 of the draft, right? They realized they got fleeced. They were ready to burn US Bank Stadium down before day 2. I mean, they were on their way. They had the pitchforks and the torches and the gasoline and the whole thing. And then day 2 started and they were able to make some moves and it was like, okay, we'll hold off. But our front office fleeced the shit out of the Minnesota Vikings.
Took advantage of a rookie GM in his first draft.
Did we ever?
I will not say negative things about Kwesi, Adolfo Mensa, the Vikings GM. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a problem. But Brad Holmes 1, Kwesi 0 so far. No doubt about it. So going up and getting Jameson Williams with that trade and getting 46 back. And I was expecting when I first saw the trade that they moved up, I'm like, okay, 32. I thought initially it would be 32, 66, and one of next year's firsts to go up. So the fact that they still have both firsts next year is a massive win on this.
All of next year's picks are still there. We walked out of this draft and didn't give up anything from next year. That's so great.
That's huge. That's a very big deal. But yeah, getting Jameson Williams. Look, I know he's injured. He should. At the worst case scenario is that he's back by week 4. I think we can live for a little bit without that, and that's one of the reasons why having a guy like Josh Reynolds come in, and why DJ Shark is here. Like they have a little bit better depth this year, like quite a bit better depth at wide receiver. Where Khalif Raymond doesn't come out as your number 2 wide receiver. He might never play offense this year. He might just be the return man, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. Like he's good at it. And that's what he did in Tennessee. That's what he did in college. He's electrifying at that. That's how far up it is. Khalif Raymond was your number 2 wide receiver for a good portion of last year. He's like 6 now. And Jameson Williams, my goodness, over 23 miles per hour GPS. That's unreal.
The thing that I think we did that is the biggest part, and I see you out there. I see you not just kind of freeloading on this video and not hitting the like button. Just hit it. I'll stop saying it when you hit it. You just hit that like button. Helps us out. All right. The thing that the thing that I like about this, and the thing that is, I think, the biggest impact that people look at the pick and say, "Oh yeah, Jameson Williams, this is awesome. Oh, we got a great wide receiver." What that does, though, is make a guy like DJ Chark, who used to be your number 1, that's your number 2, right? And you got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going to say he's your number 3, and I'm wiggling numbers here a little bit. And then let's not forget about TJ Hawkinson. Let's not forget about Josh Reynolds. Holy cow. Like all these guys that were too high on the depth chart now kind of sit a little bit too low on the depth chart. Some of them, right? And this is a significant impact to your wide receiver room. This is a killer pick. I'm thinking 3rd round before the draft. I'm like 3rd round, grab 2 wide receivers. It's a deep class. We'll have a wide spread. We'll have a shotgun approach, right? this makes it all different. This was a great move. I absolutely love Brad Holmes. My pants are so far off, they took Holmes with them. This is an awesome pick. I love this pick.
I love that they identified what they needed on their offense. This is like Ben Johnson, when he talked to us local reporters at the Combine, laid out exactly what he wanted in a wide receiver. And other than being about 20 pounds lighter than ideal, Jameson Williams is it. He wanted a guy who could stretch the field on the outside, reliably catch the ball, pull the safeties off. So TJ Hawkinson and Amon-Ra St. Brown are your primary inside, middle of field receivers. They have that much more room. Think about a little Texas route now to DeAndre Swift come out of the backfield. Who's going to be there? Because the linebacker has to carry Hawkinson. Amon-Ra is going to come across and drag and get the attention. Like
Brock Wright wide open. I'm sorry.
I honestly think that one of the biggest beneficiaries of Jameson Williams getting this is DeAndre Swift as a pass receiver. I think it's going to create a lot more space for him on the field. Look, he's not good in tight spaces, but get DeAndre Swift in space where he's one-on-one with somebody running at him. He's going to make them look stupid.
I won't disagree,
I love it.
But I'm going to yes and. I think the biggest beneficiary is Amon-Ra St. Brown, because we saw what happens with Cephas or Reynolds. Oh yeah. Did we mention Quintez Cephas anywhere? We forgot that one too, just like Michael Brockers. Oh, another great name.
Very real chance he's not on the roster by the start of training camp.
Nuts,
honestly.
Right? Nuts. Yeah. All of a sudden, Amon-Ra. When did Amon-Ra perform? When did Jared Goff perform? When he had Reynolds and when he had Cephas. Those are when his numbers were here. And I can go look. I got it. I keep it with me here, relatively handy.
Yeah, you do.
Completion rate was 10% higher. Yards, almost 60 yards a game more. 0.2 TDs versus 2.0. 0.8 INTs versus 0.4, right? Passer rating, 40 points higher. Double the air yards attempt almost. This is huge for Jared Goff. And that was Cephas or Reynolds. You suddenly have Chark and Williams. This is a whole different move. This is going to be everything you ever thought that Jared Goff could be. And you may think under what Jared Goff can be, but this puts the weapons there. We've said it before, and everyone's kind of said, oh, well, now what you're getting in Jared Goff. You're going to get the old Jared Goff is what you're going to get. He has too many weapons. Can you imagine? And so I'm not lamenting, right? I'm just going to say, can you imagine Matthew Stafford with this setup? Can you imagine what the Lions would be with this defense and this offense? Can you imagine what would happen with Stafford behind the wheel? Why the hell did he want to leave?
I will say to pee in the Kool-Aid a little bit. It's a very young unit. There's going to be some growing pains for a lot of these guys. You're not going to have Williams. He's not going to get preseason. So you're not going to see him at his best in 2022. But 2023, 2024, when all those guys that you talked about other than Chark are still on the team, like, my goodness, the high-end ceiling, and we talked about this is something that I wrote for Lions Wire. We talked about it on Friday night last week with Ash. You're going to know whether Jared Goff is a long-term solution or not based on how he performs with this offense. And if he's not, you set the next guy up so much better than you had for Jared Goff when he got here to be set up, and so much better than when Matthew Stafford came into the team, when it was Calvin Johnson, Brandon Pettigrew, and a bunch of guys named Bob. Like, it's so much better for the next. Look at what's happening in Chicago. Like, Justin Fields, they're already like, oh my God, can we please help this guy? Like, whoever comes in, whether it's Will Levis or Jake Haney or whoever. That they get in the middle half of the first round next year if Goff isn't the answer. Like, they're set up for instant success. Like, that's all you can ask for as a quarterback. That's it's similar to what Joe Burrow walked into in Cincinnati, but with an actual offense, like a top 5 offensive line. Like, what quarterback isn't one? And by the way, there's going to be some free agent quarterbacks that are out there. You don't like the draft class? Ryan Tannehill's going to be out there. Baker Mayfield's going to be out there. couple other guys are going to be out there that are veterans that can offer you a different look if you don't like who's there in the draft. Daniel Jones could very well be out there. There's going to be a lot of options and it's going to be appealing, A, because people want to play for Dan Campbell. B, they're going to look, where else am I going to have all this at my disposal where I can walk in right now and start? That's going to be incredibly appealing for a potential free agent.
I'm just going to say, with the peeing and the Kool-Aid thing, you better check your proteins, brother. You might check the kidneys.
Yeah. My sister actually runs the drug testing for the Cleveland Clinic, so I'll pee for her.
Yeah. Get a couple.
By the way, she does do the NFL drug testing for them and get some information. And let's just say that there's a lot of people who are smoking way too much marijuana.
I don't know what too much is. I'm not one to draw a line.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep rolling here. Jameson Williams, Alabama, wide receiver, number 2
great
overall.
Pick.
Great trade, great pick.
Great pick.
Brad Holmes, I just want to give you a big freaking round of applause.
I love that he went for it. I love that the organization empowered him to go for it.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And I will, when you, as I said earlier, we have a leadership video coming out here in the next couple of days. I'm going to talk about the leadership in the front office. Brad Johnson just epitomizes that servant leadership mindset. And
when you make a move like that with a division rival, you better believe that Sheila signed off on that.
Oh, yeah.
And she could have said no. Like, why are we doing this for what happens if Minnesota hits on all these picks? And by the way, they might.
Yep.
I like what they did, unfortunately. But that's a risk that they were willing to take because they felt that strongly about their guy and their plan and how much he impacts. This was a guy, had he been healthy, was going to be the number 4 overall pick in the draft. He was going to be the first wide receiver taken. And all these people are talking, oh my God, he was the 4th wide receiver. We traded away all these picks and we get the number 4 wide receiver in this draft. Pull your head out of the freaking cat box. Quit eating the chocolate things that are in there. That's not what they are. And wake up to the reality that this guy was going to be a top 5 pick if he was healthy.
He would have been in the conversation for the Lions at 2 if he was healthy.
Yes, he would have.
Period.
He certainly was in the very, very prominent in the mix for the Houston Texans at number 3. I can tell you that for a fact. I know the Giants loved him at 5 if he's healthy, but they are not in a position to take that risk because they are first off, they need offensive line help. And they really liked Kayvon Thibodeau. And by the way, I like Kayvon Thibodeau in New York. I think that's a good landing spot for him.
For reals. It's a good fit person.
I really do. I think he's a guy that's going to embrace all that is New York.
Yep.
And I don't think Aidan Hutchinson is that guy. Trayvon Walker sure as hell wasn't that guy. It's not for everybody. It is for Kayvon. Good for him.
One guy that also fell off the chart on the wide receiver list as we talk through him, Khalif Raymond. Oh, he plays for the team too. And it's a great look. The more names you can forget, the better your team is. End of story. All right, let's move on to the other number 1 pick. The name that folks have been bandying about forever was going to go 1st overall. Our guy, Brad Holmes, pulled on the old hoodoo voodoo. Gotcha, taboo, whatever generation you're from. And Scooby-Doo crawled in there and made them pick somebody else. And we wound up with Aidan Hutchinson. You may have heard of him. He was from Michigan. He said, I think they call that the edge position. Evidently this guy can kind of get towards the quarterback with some sort of regularity. Riz, Hutchinson, why do you hate this pick? I just do that. I'm sorry. You know I do that. I just do that. Sometimes people will I don't, or they'll say, well, I mean, and they'll start trying to find the bad side to it, and they take the bait. You just don't even.
He's not perfect. He is going to have to be a little bit better at when he didn't have good games, and there's 2 that I can think of, and everybody knows them because everybody watched them, were Michigan State and Georgia. I will argue that he played okay against Georgia. The guy on the other side was absolute dog crap in that game, and he got no help from his secondary either. Mm-hmm. And being constantly double teamed by a bunch of dudes, and they were running free runners at him to try and slow him down. I think he did the best that he could. his teammates didn't capitalize on all the extra attention sent at him in the Georgia game. Michigan State game, he didn't play well. And one of the reasons that he didn't play well was because he consistently didn't win the battle with the initial arm. He does have the short arms. Michigan State's offensive line, and I'm not a Michigan guy. I'm not a Michigan State guy. I'm an Ohio Bobcat. I'm not a Buckeye. I'm a Bobcat. Get that in your freaking head. When I wear an Ohio Bobcat shirt to Meyer, don't say fuck your Buckeyes. I don't care. I'm a Bobcat.
Wait, were you in my backyard yesterday? Scampering?
Dude,
cute little fella.
I would love nothing more than a pet domesticated Bobcat, but
so
they're incredible animals.
They're vicious,
but I digress.
All right, let's talk about
as long as Aidan Hutchinson is going out and seizes the initial battle, and he's very good at that. I would say is probably 80% win to 20% loss, which is a phenomenal ratio. That's Ndamukong Suh territory in terms of being able to win that initial combat. He's really, really good. He's got to work on making that counter move when he doesn't. That's something that's a room for improvement. But like this guy, he's a phenomenal athlete.
His drop rate is huge, though. His drop rate is off the charts, bro. I mean, him and he the only one I saw that with a little bit better catch rate was Watson than Aidan Hutchinson. I mean, I can find little pieces, right? But you can anybody that's coming out of the draft.
One of the things that I love about him is what he understands how to finish very well. And we talked about with James Houston that he's going to sometimes run past you instead of making the tackle. You never see that on Aidan Hutchinson film. If he gets you in his sights, he's going to be square, he's going to be under control, and he's going to get your ass on the ground.
Yeah.
And that's something that we have struggled with for a long time. Charles Harris, fantastic last year. He's got some of that James Hughes where he's going to beat it and he's going to curl around the edge, but he's not going to be able to tighten it that tight. And he's going to get an arm on the quarterback, and maybe he'll hit the ball, but maybe he won't. And maybe the quarterback's going to boogie out and run 35 yards around the outside. You'll never see that happen with Aidan Hutchinson. And that's one of the things that I love. Aside from the fact that he's a very accomplished pass rusher and elite athlete, he has such good football body control for how he approaches it. And he can play under that control without sacrificing athleticism. That's Myles Garrett. That's Chandler Jones. That's rare, folks.
Yeah.
It's better than Jadeveon Clowney. It's better than Mario Williams for guys that went that high. He is, I said it the other night, his floor is Chris Long, a guy who's going to get you between 8 and 12 sacks a year while being one of the best run defenders at his position in the league. That's his floor. Hell yeah. Give me that.
All right, really quick. You said beat it and tighten it that tight in the same sentence. And I like that in my defensive ends, my edge guys do. Look, here's the thing. If you like that, hit the like button. Hit the like button. I want to get it to 140. We're over. We're running over. We're over 13 minutes longer than we needed to run. We got stuff we got to do here.
We do.
But we still got to talk about the UDFAs.
Yeah.
And there's one in particular, Josh Johnson from Tulsa, that people want to talk about. So first off, I need you to get that from 127 to 140 right now. There's 250 people, 253 people, and it keeps going up. Get in there, hit the like button, help us out. You haven't hit the super chat button, that's okay. You don't have a couple bucks in your pocket, that's okay. Just hit the like button, help us out. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see some more. That's always good as well. But pound the like button, you can keep this thing out there for folks and help us out by doing what you can do with a simple little click. Right? That's all. It's just a click. I understand. Inflation's high. Super chat's hard sometimes in the world that we live in. And we're here for you. We're here for you. All right. Exchange for like. We're going to do Josh Johnson, Tulsa, wide receiver. Go, Riz, go.
Not the quarterback who's played for every team in the league, including the Lions. He's got a real uphill battle to even stick on the practice squad. And let's be real about it. Last year, they brought in 3 very prominent undrafted free agent wide receivers, Javon McKinley, Jonathan Adams, and Sage Surratt. Not Chase Surratt. That was the linebacker.
Sage Surratt.
Yeah. McKinley's the only guy who's still around, and he got cut 4 times on last year's team. And he's starting ahead of this. We just talked about how Quintez Cephas might not stick around. It's going to be real, real hard for any wide receiver to crack the top 6. That's just the reality of it. And look, he's got some interesting film. I can't say that I've studied Tulsa a lot. I watched their offensive line primarily when I was watching him. He did make some plays. He made a play, I want to say it was the North Texas game that I think he did really well. I did see them play a couple other games, but he's not Like he's got a real uphill battle on it. And by the way, he is not officially signed. One of the issues that the Lions have, after their draft pick allotment, they only had 4 open spots on the roster. Now that's couched by the fact that they do have to actually sign their draft picks, so technically the roster is open. But 86 of the 90 spots were already spoken for. They paid 4 guys over $100,000 to sign the team. Those 4 guys: Obinna Easy, the offensive lineman from TCU and formerly of Memphis; Kevin Jarvis from Michigan State, offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman; Greg Bell, the running back from San Diego State; and Derek Thies Jr., the tight end from San Jose State, are the only ones who have officially signed contracts. So all the other guys are there on rookie camp invites or tryout bases. They're not actually signed to the team. So that's an important factoid. It's really, really hard when you're not getting any signing bonus at all to make the team. I think AJ Parker did do that last year. I don't think he got a signing bonus to join the team as an undrafted free agent. He made it and played, and God bless him, he played better than expected.
This is one of the things I want to talk about. It's
real hard for any of the guys that aren't those 4 to honestly to get much of a sniff this year, because the overall depth on the team is that much better.
This is, and I'm going to give everyone a kind of heads up. This is another reason to hit the like button, because we got Jerry Jacobs coming on again. Do you know what his guaranteed salary was last year when he signed?
AJ?
No, Jerry Jacobs.
Didn't he get? I want to say he got $55,000. His
guaranteed salary as a UDFA, Jerry Jacobs. Remember what he turned into? Yeah. $3,500. Think about that. The bet he made on himself to come to Detroit. And we're going to talk about that when we have him on the show here in just a couple of weeks. Jerry, the story of where these guys are and the mindset of where these guys are. That's when we talked to Jerry, that was one of the things we talked about doing this season, like our version of Hard Knocks, a guy who's kind of a bubble roster guy. He made the roster, how fun that was, how exciting it was. But to walk the story that nobody else tells. Everybody wants to tell the story about, Aidan Hutchinson. Woo, and I don't want to downplay Aidan Hutchinson, right? He's a great player. He's earned everything he's got. But there's so many guys that are on this side of the roster that nobody gives a crap about until they're on the roster, make a play, whatever. And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, they noticed him. I talked about him. No. Jerry Jacobs is a guy we saw. Jerry Jacobs is a guy we knew had a lot of talent, and we wanted to walk his story. And we told him, I don't care if you wind up with the Lions. We want to talk wherever you end up, because this is the story that none of these guys tell. No one in the media tells the story about the guys in the bubble until they make it big. Jerry's going to be back, and he's going to be able to start giving us some insight into the mindset of these guys. What are they thinking? Where are they at? What are they striving for? What scares them right now at this point in the season?
What do you weigh when you have multiple offers? Do you weigh more money? Do you weigh better opportunity? Do you weigh that this coach really liked me and I clicked with him when I talked with him in the pre-draft interviews? That I'm fascinated to ask Jerry.
Where do you live when you're only guaranteed $3,500?
You live in Jeff Okuda's garage.
Think about it. What I mean, like, Jerry, Arkansas, right? He's in Arkansas. He's moving to Detroit, and he's got to live. And all he knows he's going to have in his pocket is $3,500 fribbin' dollars. That's, people don't realize. Aidan Hutchinson deserves all the money he's going to get. He's going to walk in. He's got no questions about money, no worries about money, nothing. But a guy like Greg Bell, a guy like Josh Johnson, what do? They're making the biggest bet on themselves that any person can make. You know what I mean? So big, so huge, such a big deal. Okay, I want to hit this last thing, Riz, and we'll roll out of here. We'll get into that with Jerry. I'm telling you, it's going to be a great episode. It's going to be all in your feels. It's going to be in a place where, as much as you love Jerry, as much as you know who he is, this is one of those things that's going to tell you about the heart of a man who has made that bet. And you're going to see the story of these guys who are there. And this is why I love Jerry, right? This is why the whole thing with seatbeltgang.com is all about what? It's not about rewarding the kids that did great, not because they're doing well, but because they get rewarded. The kids who fight against all odds and do their best and give it their all and grind harder to get to a place of success. That's something those kids, they need to understand that there's a reward for that, because that's pulling yourself up, pulling yourself out. That's the kind of motivation that you need when you're in that kind of place. And to help kind of bring that message to kids and help them out. That's what we want to do. So that's what we're working on. That's that whole thing. I want to talk about what Aqib Talib said about the Detroit Lions. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, all those things.
Cool.
Yeah. What week 14, right? I think it was against the Cards, and then we beat the snot out of those bird bastards. What did he say? Offensive line. Well, it's a strength when we're healthy. First round pick. This team needs to take Aidan Hutchinson, right? Late second round, maybe trade up, get yourself a top wide receiver. And then Jared Goff, he gets one more year to show he's the quarterback. If you can't tell me that Aqib Talib can see the future, holy shit, right? This guy landed.
They put it up on an actual graphic on the Fox broadcast. Like I like Aqib Talib. He's got a different style of presentation. I happen to like it. It reminds me more of basketball, which I watch an insane amount of. Like for fun, I watch basketball.
Yep.
But he's another Aqib Talib, very smart guy. Like, and I actually tweeted. I checked out before he did another game earlier in the year, and I remember commenting like he really did his homework on this team. Like he knows what's up. This isn't Chris Myers not knowing how to pronounce the name of Goff. Like this guy knows what the hell Chris Myers mispronounced his own freaking name. That's how unprofessional he is.
Yeah.
Like give Aqib Talib a lot of love. He's a little unorthodox. He's a little different. I happen to like it, and I think he's a rising star. I love listening to his calls.
His brain
away from Gus Johnson, who I can't stand, and I'm even happier.
Yeah, Aqib Talib's brain is just freaking top shelf. His delivery needs to work, but that comes with time. I mean, if I listen back to podcast number 3, right? And I worked in radio in Detroit for a number of years. It takes time. That's okay. I got to say, welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast winner circle, William LaPratt. Thank you for joining as a member. Hit me up on the contact form on the website, DetroitLionsPodcast.com. We'll get you in the Slack. You'll enjoy that. That's a great time. Also, Lion Orr of Douchebagia, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the great content, guys. Hell of a draft. #1 Pride. You got it. You named it. All right. Member, hit the join button below. Do that for us. The super chat, thank you. That's all going towards our 4K thing. We appreciate all your subscribers, all you guys who've liked, subscribed, all those things. It means a ton. We've got a lot of great content for coming for you guys.
Absolutely do. It's going to be a lot of fun the next few weeks.
I looked back. We haven't missed a show a week since the 24-hour show and during the bye week that we did the St. Jude thing. And before that, it was July of last year, Riz. We've been cranking non-stop.
We've been going through it pretty good.
Sometimes 4 times a week. So I just want everyone to know, week of the 23rd to the 27th, we're taking a break of May. June 13th to 17th, we're taking a break. And the week of the 4th of July, we're taking a break. So we're going to get 3 weeks of vacation from the podcast this year. But don't worry. I have a feeling we're going to have a couple of videos and a couple of other things for you guys going on during those weeks to keep you busy, because we just can't get away. We love you too much.
Just as a heads up, the middle week of that, I will be in a hotel room in one place or another that entire week. I'm not sitting in my hotel room and not talking Lions. So
right. Last thing, Hutchinson doesn't have J.J. Watt's size. Watt was 290, about 30 pounds heavier than Hutch. That's right. And Watt wound up carrying a lot of weight and a lot of injury potentially.
And they also don't play the same spot.
Yeah. Hutchinson's
going to play more outside. J.J. was a 4-eye primarily when he played for the Texans at his best. So they didn't use him in the way that Hutchinson's going to get used. Hutchinson's going to play a lot of standard in-line, 4-man line defensive end on the strong side where the tight end is. That's my prediction for where he's going to wind up being.
Brother, Micro Mike,
stand-up pass rusher.
Micro Mike
didn't do that much.
Sorry to be to step on you. Micro Mike is live. As soon as we finish up here, go over, check him out. He is
go to Micro Mike as soon as we're done here, and we're almost done.
He is awesome. Don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Access to the Slack chat, the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. We've got the Discord going as well. That's cool. You need $5 a month donation to get into the Slack, just so you know. $1 will get you into the Discord. That's automatic, but the Slack is it tends to be where the awesome stuff is. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast and at Jeff Risdon, as you see spelled there. DET Lions Podcast. Push us. We're only 100 away from 5,000. I just happened to look today. I'm like, oh wow, big number coming. So at DET Lions Podcast, give us that follow on Twitter, please. Also, give us a call on Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, Detroit Lions Podcast, or call us on the Lions line at 929-33-LIONS, 929-335-4667, and leave a message. We'll get your stuff on the air. Be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast so we can do what do we do?
Well, we can come into your ear hole automatically.
You're right. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time with the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no marinara, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems, because we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection. Thank you all for joining us again. We love you.